Hello everybody and welcome along to this round number 7 of the Next Level Racing iRX Championship here on RaceSpot TV from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to be giving you all of the RX Am and RX Pro action here today. It's myself, Paul Smith, alongside me once again is Ewan O'Leary, and after heading across from Brands Hatch, we're at Charlotte, and well, this is going to be an interesting round, isn't it, back on American soil?
Yeah, it's very much the home run towards the end of the season. These 3 weeks in a row, Brands Hatch, Charlotte and Atlanta will set up our title fights. They'll set up our champions in the championship for 2025. And yeah, this is going to be another interesting one. I think one that people, especially after speaking to people last week after Brands Hatch, one that people are going to know a little bit more than what they did last time.
Yeah, absolutely. We started off back in July. We're here towards the middle of November for the penultimate week of this championship. If you've never seen this series before, well, there are 2 classes. We're going to start off with RX Am, so that is a fixed car setup. You can't make any changes to your car, and it is a 3,500 iRating cap. So if you have higher than that, you get put into Pro, RX Pro. That means that you get free reign to make changes to your car with no iRating cap. The format today, well, we get 5-minute 3-lap qualifying, 5-lap heat races, 5-lap last chance qualifiers, and then a 10-lap feature race for us today. And well, Klaus Kreutzer has very much got one hand on the championship trophy in RX Am. It is pretty much an unassailable lead now over Joshua Germany after last week's victory. Aaron Smith II is in 3rd place, only 6 points clear of Zachary Goddard, who's only 4 points clear of Sander Antonsen. Greg Johnson, Trevor Teal and Alex Otero and Jeff Cartwright and Eric Dubois not that far back either, so there's a real scrap on for 3rd place in the championship. So that is how things stand right now. Drivers are getting the last few moments of practice here. Only 10 minutes, Ewan, to get acclimatised to the conditions, and it's actually quite a cool track temperature here today.
Yep, going to make just that little bit of a difference, as it has done since we had the changes in track temperature and all that kind of thing introduced into iRacing, and of course how that affects the dirt as well, which has been around for some time. But yeah, this is an interesting venue to race at. Not too many sort of differentials actually to the first part of the Roval that you see in NASCAR racing, with the obvious changes that take place for rallycross racing. Most of this taking place on dirt as well, but it was the start that you were bringing up to me before the broadcast that was raising your attention most of all, because we don't start actually on the racetrack, if you like. It's one of those places where you start elsewhere, unlike last week.
Yeah, absolutely. You do start elsewhere on the track. You do go through the finish line. That means that you can take the Joker lap on lap 1 if you do wish to do so. So it's going to be interesting to see how we get on here. Right, enough talk about what's coming up. We've got qualifying right now, so Drake Mittag and everybody else will be heading out onto track to set themselves lap times here. And just from looking at the track and looking at the dirt sections, of course the jump here as well, just what are some of the difficulties that you imagine that some of the drivers are going to be facing out there?
Yeah, just the flow of corners really from one into the next. Look at that over the crest there, coming in towards turn 4, not quite getting it right for Drake Mittag, showing that it is very, very tricky indeed, and sort of getting that as that turn goes all the way around, getting it sort of nicely set up then for turn 5, which is a very sharp right-hander, and then utilising all of the grass on the right-hand side here, missing the apex slightly though there, Joshua Germany on the tarmac, which they go over again before they actually cross over the line and start at turn 1 and 2 again. Massive sideways moment, and indeed 2 sideways backwards into the wall. We've been following 2 drivers and they've both ended up in the wall at some point. It's difficult out there at this racetrack, it seems.
Yeah, it's tricky. You've got to keep the car smooth and pointing in the right direction. And that's something Ivan Anderson has been showing us here momentarily. It is a tricky track, is this one. And it's the next two corners, turns 4 and 5, I think are the most difficult on the track from my own background of racing in the AM Championship here in Next Level Racing. And it's just, you've got to be so smooth with your application of power through this corner in particular. As well, Drake Mittag, he got it wrong to start with, finds himself up towards the front, but right as we say that, Klaus Kreutzer goes, remember chaps, I'm in the championship lead.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that as well. He's been taking all the points, whether that's in his heat or indeed in the qualifying session, which you do get points for here as well. He's been topping all of those, and to be fair, the gap is smaller this time round than what it was last week. Cartwright and Mittag are within 2 tenths. However, he is still at the top of the session, and so will be starting from the front of his heat and look to just get through the first lap safely, and then let his speed do the rest of the talking in his heat.
Mittag across the line does not improve. Lap time, oh, Vigard Olsen Light into the wall, heavily impacted with the wall there, so not able to improve their lap time. Greg Johnson sticking in 6th place right now. Alex Otero, I think, is one of the few who is actually still on lap times. Here he comes in that Subaru across the line. 43.295, which is good enough for 4th place right now, and is able to do one final lap here.
Yeah, that sharp right-hander just after the jump, laying out the way for another rise over a small crest there before getting this a bit better. Just pinned to the inside the wall there, and then same here through turn 5. Goes quite early on the apex there, but that might not actually be the worst way of doing these this long right-hander, as he now sort of breezes it out to the outside of the corner, and then for that final apex, it's got all sorts of, I'm not sure what that is on the inside of that corner, but they've got all sorts there to stop you from cutting it. And now over line for Otero, it's pretty much exactly the same lap time as before, so I'd imagine he will stay where he is. It was a bit better actually, it wasn't a small improvement I think, but he's still 4th as Boschinger shows the dangers of that jump, which is very steep off the side there.
Yeah, it certainly is. Everybody's done their lap times here, so we'll just wait for the session to tick over. But 14 drivers for you today, which means that in the heats, we should, if my memory serves me correct, should only get 2 heat races from this. 2 advance from each of the heat races into the main feature race. And then, of course, you do have those last chance qualifiers to be able to get yourself into that main race towards the end of their evening. You are watching RX AM here in the Next Level Racing iRX Championship. A little bit later on this evening, we'll be getting the RX Pro drivers going in about 40 minutes time or so. We'll be seeing those drivers out there on track. Worth mentioning as well, if you go to Next Level Racing and use the code Racecraft, you get 5% off of orders in the US store. So if you're using the US store, use the code Racecraft, help support the series, and show that Racecraft is the place to be for iRX. Right, here we go then. The first of our AM races, and it's Klaus Kreutzer and Drake Mittag at the front with Eric Dubois and Sander Antonsen. Vigard Olsen Light, and then Chris Lunan rounds out the top 6, with Solomon Boschinger rounding out the rest of the grid. We are only going to get 2 heat races, so remember, top 2 from this race will find themselves into the main race. That's the thing that we're going to be looking for. Right, here we go then. First race of the evening.
Green, green, green.
Green flag, away we go, and it's a good launch from the inside then for our championship leader into turn number 1, but round the outside, can they hold it? Yes, they can. Fantastic stuff. Klaus Kreutzer and Eric Dubois fighting it out over the front position right now as they go through the sweeping turn number 1 into turn number 2. But that was a heck of a launch there, Ewan, from Eric Dubois.
Yeah, and the outside line there for a brief moment yielded what looked like a chance at the lead, but it turns to the left again through the second corner in the race, and Kreutzer was able to take the inside line twice, and therefore for the position, but he spun! The championship leader and race leader spins through turn 4.
That is so easily done. You have to hug those apexes, and you've got a concrete wall there that can catch you out. Just clip that and it can send you around. So it's Dubois from Mittag, from Antonsen, and well, we've got drivers heading onto the Joker lap this time around. We've not really talked about the Joker lap. We'll speak about that in a minute, because there, clip the wall on the inside, and Kreutzer, when he has a bad week, he has a bad week.
Yeah, and as we said in qualifying, you've got to get as close to that wall as possible for lap time. It's not for fun. He's trying to get his lap time down as much as possible by doing this, but as you say, it's so easy to just clip that, and when you do, because of the angle the cars are at and the stress they're under already, it spins them around pretty much instantly. As you see, Mittag here is in danger of doing the same. He is quicker, it looks like at the moment, than Eric Dubois, but he's struggling to get past until now. Final corner, inside line, and it tightens here on the exit. Don't forget, outside for the next part, inside for turn 1, and Drake Mittag takes the lead.
Nicely done there by Drake, and Eric Dubois just running a bit wide there through turn number 1. But you can see the two different approaches to how they're driving. Mittag getting the back end out, using the handbrake just to get the back rotating around, whereas Dubois keeping it smooth, keeping it clean. Until now, Dubois is just getting the back end out. Here's what's happened to Solomon Bershinger into turn 1. Oh, we had one car into the wall. Bershinger is helped off as well. That was Sander Antonsen, the other car.
Yeah, and that's all of them taking their jokers, by the way, down the field, other than Bershinger, who's had a very difficult day so far. This is a on-board bit of vision, I think, from the Joker. There it is, indeed, taking the road course pit exit at the very end of it. So wants to stir up his second position, and has done here, ahead of Vegard Olsen-Lear, who had taken the Joker a couple of laps previous. Now Mittag may well respond by doing the same, or indeed just going to carry on to the end of the race. I don't think it's going to matter as far as his membership in the top 2 is concerned.
Yeah, it's all about that transition spot. You're absolutely right there, Ewan. Top 2, that's the important place, and right now Eric Dubois has cemented themselves into that place, but Vegard Olsen-Lear looks like a dangerous threat here today, so I wouldn't necessarily say that they're out of it entirely, as Mittag, I believe, has taken the Joker lap this time around. Across the line they go. Yes, they have. So the top 2 are pretty much secure in their place here.
Yep, and they look like they're on their way to the final, whereas Klaus Kreutzer, the championship leader by some distance, is not going to be there, and he'll be very pleased that he's got a 61-point championship lead to fall back on, because this is unusual and very worrying indeed as well, because it's not like he's only just missing out in 3rd, he's down in 5th, which means it's a poor starting position for the last chance qualifier.
He is fighting with Chris Loonan, I could tell you, off screen. In fact, there we are, Loonan's around! Oh, Kreutzer's made contact! Now, is Kreutzer going to wait? No, he's going off, but that doesn't matter. Drake Mittag is your first heat race winner, ahead of Eric Dubois in second. They transition through to the main feature race, and that means Drake Mittag will have that inside line into turn number 1 for the main race. The rest of your results coming through, so it's Dubois and Mittag who go through. The rest of them will be heading to that last chance qualifier a little bit later on this evening. Right, we're getting ourselves set for the second race of the evening. We're just waiting for the session to transition over to the second heat race. Remember, 14 drivers here today, and it's Jeff Cartwright, Alex Otero and Greg Johnson on the front row, with Kevin Garcia, Joshua Germany row 2. Oyvind Anderson is on row 3 with Jimmy Randell. We had a pretty clean start in that first heat race. We should hopefully get another one here in this second heat race, but you never know. Commentators cursing all of that, Ewan.
Yeah, well, exactly. And if you think about it, Dubois' start on the outside line there, the outside of the 3, effectively put him in a position to transfer forward as well by not getting involved in the carnage. So watch for the starts here as well.
Joshua Germany on the second row needs a good launch, needs to get transition through automatically to have any hope of getting a good championship result here. We're going to go 4 wide into turn 1, are we? Oh, onto the brakes, around the outside, almost into the wall there was Johnson. But through they go, through that last corner of the track, underneath the finish barrier, and then we're starting the lap here then. So it is Johnson in the lead, no, sorry, Cartwright in the lead ahead of Garcia. Otero and Johnson then 3rd and 4th place. So it's a good start from Garcia.
And Owen Anderson, I think, has it just dropped down the field? I think maybe, as Joshua Germany only in 5th position, hasn't really made any progress over the start of this race, unfortunately. Will that mean an only joker lap here as they're about to pass it on the left-hand side?
Well, here's Ivan Anderson's view. Oh, contact over the jump. And yeah, that unsettles the car. Off they go. Greg Johnson's going to the joker lap this lap round. So too is Kevin Garcia as well. So a couple of drivers heading early onto the joker lap, trying to get themselves out of traffic. The problem is they've headed into traffic. Oh, Ivan Anderson into the wall.
Yeah, just clipped the rear end on the tyre barrier, which sent it around to the other side. And Anderson's going to be starting, not least, not making it through, but starting towards the back in the last chance qualifier at this rate. There you see, just clips the tyre wall at the very end of it there, and then goes face first into the barriers. So not great, unfortunately, for Anderson, who's going to take the joker this time round to join Garcia and Johnson. Garcia not in a bad position here, so Otero's got to be very wary of that, and I know he hasn't come in this time round for his joker. Joshua Germany has got to put some pace on as well here from 3rd position. He is very much in the danger zone.
Yeah, he of course is the 2nd place driver in the championship. He needs to get as many points as possible out of this heat race and to get himself into those automatic qualification spots for the main feature race, but it just doesn't look like the pace is in that VW Beetle here today, because Garcia is right on his tail, and when Germany takes the joker lap, that'll be Garcia ahead, and it'll make his life even more difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So at the moment, Germany's best situation, best decision is to just stay out there and continue plugging away, try and get a bit closer to Otero. But then once he starts to get in the way, you've got to come in for the joker, whether that's going to be the end of this one or indeed the end of the final lap, and leave it to just a quick dash towards the finish line. Don't forget, not least, he's got to not get held up by Otero. He's got to get past him as well, to be fair, to get into the top 2, because he's still running 3rd. Jeff Cartwright out front, looking comfortable in the lead of this heat.
As we go through the sweeps and turns once again, Cartwright and Otero, I believe, will take their jokers as late as possible. Cartwright carries on, so too does Otero. There goes Germany onto the joker lap here in that VW Beetle. The only VW Beetle driver out there here today, and comes out into 4th place then. So he's only lost 1 place.
Yeah, only to Garcia, who is going to be focused more on Otero up ahead rather than Joshua Germany, who is pretty much definitely going to be in the last chance qualifier, barring a miracle here at the front of the field. Can Otero and Cartwright get through this joker and out again before they lose their top 2 place? Cartwright certainly will, I think, but it's going to be whether Otero is going to beat Garcia to the line.
Otero's really got a shift on here and has caused the gap to Cartwright at the front, but through we go, through the joker lap, through the last corner, and Otero's going to do it along with Cartwright, your winner. But Otero has managed to jump Kevin Garcia, gets the automatic transition spot, and that means that Cartwright and Otero, they're rubbing their hands. They get a break now in that last chance qualifier. Everybody else below, Garcia, Germany, Johnson, Randall and Anderson, have got all of the work to do now in the last chance qualifiers, but that was a real surprise for me. Otero really picked up the pace.
Yeah, and just about had the legs in the end. It wasn't comfortable though. Just 0.6 of a second in front of Garcia. But I guess the big surprise from that heat is that Germany did not make it. Neither of the top 2 have made it straight into the final here in the AMS, the RX AMS, and that is unusual to say the least.
Well, do you know what? We've been talking up the last chance qualifiers all evening, we're actually not getting one. There's not a single... Everybody's qualifying through to the main feature race. There's 14. We've got 14 drivers. This has got to be the most drivers we've had in a main feature race all season long.
I mean, yeah, you know, the way the iRacing system does the rallycross is very smart some of the time. Well, most of the time, actually. But I've got to say, over the last couple of weeks, when there's, you know, slightly awkward numbers in the middle of there being, you know, a really small amount and a really big amount, we're sort of in the middle here. And I don't think it quite gets some of these right, to be honest with you. 2 from 7 in a heat is quite small, I think. And then to a 14 car final is obviously a bit large, if you ask me. But there you go.
I mean, I thought we would have had maybe one last chance qualifier with the bottom 2 not making it through into the main race, but what do I know? Not for the first time, Ewan.
It's difficult to predict what's going on with these. I don't even make the predictions because I don't know. I'm completely reliant on you in these as to who's going to be going through and whatever. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't know that while I was watching the heats, because it would have taken the edge off a bit, wouldn't it? If everybody was going to get there anyway.
Well, what the interesting thing there, though, is that Joshua Germany and our championship leader Kraus Kreutzer both finished 4th respectively in their respective heat races, so they in theory should be queuing up next to each other on the starting grid. That's going to be a bit spicy, isn't it?
Yeah, that will be good to watch, and that is an advantage. But they would have fancied themselves, I think, to win their last chance qualifier, finish 1 and 2, which of course would have as well given them a position side by side, but it would have given them a slightly better position for this final. They're very much in the mid-pack, and there's a big chance for somebody new to win here this round.
Well, could it be Drake Mittag? He had a great opening heat race and will be looking to get a win here. Right, we're getting ourselves set for the main feature race then. And here's your grid. Mittag, Cartwright and Dubois front row with Otero, Lai and Garcia. Otero, Lai, row 2. Garcia, Kreutzer and Germany, row number 3. Antonson, Johnson, row number 4 with Bursching. Burchinger, Randall. And then at the back of the field, Chris Lunan and Ivan Anderson. 14 cars are going to be taking to this main race. Look at that. That is a sight to see here in the RX Am Championship here for Next Level Racing iRX. 10 laps of the main feature race. We've got a jump start towards the back, but right now it's green flag and away we go. It's an awful start from Mittag on pole position. Otero's got contact with Lai. Oh, dearie me. Lai's around. We've got Otero off. And we've got multiple drivers. Burschinger's got the black flag for the jump start, but at the front then, it's going to be Jeff Cartwright who takes the lead over Drake Mittag. It's changing it all the time. We've got cars sliding as they reach the jump.
Yeah, and there was slight contact there through just before the jump, I think, between Mittag and not Mittag, but well, a couple of the top contenders anyway. Kraus Kreutzer might have been involved in it actually as they come through the dirt for the first time. Otero still hasn't crossed the start-finish line, and so he's ruining our standings at the moment. There we go. He's gone to the back now, but he's only just got to turn 1 now, which shows you what a massive crash it was on lap 1.
Yeah, we've got Burchinger, got a black flag that allowed a time penalty at the end of the race. Here's a look at the replay then, and it's 3 into 1, don't go. Oh, the Otero gets sent flying over the Ford Fiesta, and get a face full of Subaru here.
Oh, it did. When you make wheel-to-wheel contact in these, you do spring up into the air quite easily. So much damage will have been done there on the opening lap, and we have already got contenders out of the race. Sadly, there goes Joshua Germany, muscling his way alongside Drake Mittag for second.
Germany is on a mission right now. It is an incredible start, up 6 places from where he started in this race. This is fantastic from Joshua, and if ever there was the opportunity to get some points back in the championship, this is it. Plus Kreutzer in 5th place in this race, you would imagine, is going to be trying to push forward in all of this, so Germany needs to take advantage.
Yeah, and he is right now. Jeff Cartwright under big pressure, and he'll know that in towards turn 5, Germany past Mittag with getting his elbows out, and here he comes again. He goes a little bit shallow on the exit from turn 4. No, he's not going to fire it down the inside this time, and Cartwright's line through 5 just helps a little bit keep that lead again.
When do you take your joker if you're Joshua Germany? When do you... Because you've got to do the opposite of what the driver in front... Oh, it's slow! Cartwright very slow suddenly through that last corner, and Germany, bang! It's got damage to the front now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that Germany minds too much about that, but yeah, he got that line wrong through the first spot there, Cartwright, which gave him a bad run through the second, and on the run to the line, Germany had no choice almost but to get into the back of him. I think Germany's going to try and make this pass on the circuit rather than do it through the joker, which he does have a bit of space to, and in a different situation you'd expect or maybe even encourage him to come in at this stage. I don't think he will do that though, unless he's decided now that he's had a good go at passing him, so now he comes into the joker. No, he's going to stay out and continue to try and get past on the road.
He's just got so much speed as Joshua Germany. As we're looking on board, Drake Mittag then, this is a replay, it looks like, from earlier with that one. We cut back to live pictures. So yeah, Mittag over the jump then. He goes and is dropping back a little bit from Joshua Germany and Jeff Cartwright. Looking back from Cartwright, there's Germany. And, well, Joshua trying all that he can to get past, but the Control Z driver of Jeff Cartwright holding on a commanding position right now.
Yeah, doing, and again, Germany waits, but yeah, Cartwright really came under pressure from Germany a couple of laps ago when he made that mistake through this section, but now he's looking a lot more under control here. Still under the big pressure though, a little bit wide through 1 and 2, but as long as he doesn't touch the wall, he's okay. And look at the late apex he can get through turn 2, almost making it into one corner before he vaulted over the jump. And he is surviving and indeed, well, thriving in this pressure quite nicely.
Klaus Kreutzer into third, but that's because Drake Mittag has taken the joker lap this lap. There's Kreutzer just loitering in the background of shot then. As we look from above, the two leaders just going out of shot now. There's Kreutzer and Mittag we're focused on right now. Kreutzer, is he going to take to the joker this lap? Yes, he is. So that's going to be him taking the joker and trying to secure that 4th place. He has gained a place here again. He's up 3 places from where he started, is Klaus.
Yeah, he's probably got all he can out of this race, to be honest. It'll be counting his lucky stars that he was actually not involved in the opening lap crash there, because it was so messy in the middle. Oh, and he's going to get in free position. Drake Mittag makes a mistake and he's off. He's clearly got some technical problems, and Kreutzer is going to be 3rd in the end.
Oh dear. Drake Mittag, brilliant heat race. Pole position, not pole position, but brilliant heat race to take the win in the opening heat race, and it's just all gone wrong here in this main race today. Chris Loonan has retired his car as well. We've got a number of retirements here in this one then. Burschinger, Anderson, Randell, Loonan, and now Mittag as well. So that means that the championship rivals are together, and pretty much this will be Klaus Kreutzer securing the championship, I would imagine.
Yeah, it looks like it. Joshua Germany at the moment just doesn't look like he can quite get past Jeff Cartwright for whatever reason. He's just not quite getting close enough. He was able to get up to the back of and pass quite quickly his previous opponents, but now he's gone for the joker. It's the last chance saloon, really. 2 laps to go. If you're Cartwright, you'd probably leave it to the last lap now, or maybe you want to do it a lap earlier just to be absolutely sure, but Germany's throwing everything at this now.
This gives Germany a bit of clear air, doesn't it? A little bit of clean space so he can just focus on driving as fast as he can. But 3.1 seconds is the gap now after taking that joker lap here. And Cartwright, we're keeping an eye on him. Does he respond straight away? I would, personally. If I was in Cartwright's position, I'm taking the joker lap now. Get it done to give less opportunity of Germany to get ahead. But no, he stays out there.
Well, this is big trust in his own abilities here because, as you say, that would be better in terms of just controlling what Germany's doing here and only allowing him to have one lap on his own for him to make up the time necessary versus 2. Now, has Cartwright got the speed on this last lap? Has he got enough to hold on from Joshua Germany? This is Greg Johnson here, defending from Eric Dubois and Vegard Olsen-Lear for a 4th place finish.
Yeah, this is quite an intense battle between these 3, although they've separated out a little bit. But we need to be focusing really now at your race leader. We know he's going to be coming onto the joke lap because this is the last lap of the race. Has he got enough of a lead over Joshua Germany? There's Germany on the bottom of your screen. I think he does. It's going to be tight at the line, but it's going to be Jeff Cartwright who takes victory here in RXAM. Next Level Racing, iRX Championship and race winner of the main race. For Control Z, it's Jeff Cartwright.
And he just about gets home. He left that to his own ability. He trusted his own abilities there in those final 2 laps. And it's turned out he made the right call, beating the 2 championship contenders, Joshua Germany and Klaus Kreuzer, who somehow gets out of tonight with a 3rd place in the final. But Cartwright gets the round win, and well earned as well in those final couple of laps especially.
Absolutely tremendous stuff then. Let's take a look at your provisional race results then from round number 7 of the Next Level Racing iRX AM Championship, and it's Jeff Cartwright who wins the main feature race after 10 laps by just half a second over Joshua Germany in 2nd place. Klaus Kreuzer, it was a case of damage limitation for him, gets a podium in the end in the main race, finishing 3rd, 2 seconds behind the 2nd place championship rival. Then a bit of a gap back to Greg Johnson, who leads a train of cars of Eric Dubois and Vegard Olsen-Lear, who finish in 5th and 6th respectively. Kevin Garcia and Sander Antonsen really close together at the end, just 4/10 separating those 2, 7th and 8th. Alex Otero finishes 1 lap down in the end, and then the retirements: Drake Mittag, Chris Lunan, Jimmy Randell, Oyvind Anderson and Solomon Burschinger all did not finish this race. So that's RXAM. We're finished with RXAM a little bit earlier than we normally do, so we're going to have plenty of time between the races, between AM and Pro, to get to speak to our podium sitters. And Ewan Lear is going to be sitting down with all of them. Let's start with our race winner, Jeff Cartwright.
Yeah, Jeff, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on the round win tonight. Let's go to the final first of all and talk about those final couple of laps, because you made a call to stay out and take your joker on the very last lap, even when Joshua Germany behind you had taken the joker on lap 8 and had a couple of laps on his own to try and get past you. What was the decision, or what was the reasoning behind that call, or staying out there for an extra couple of laps to get the win there?
Yeah, so honestly, I just didn't want to mess up my routine. I was just wanting to get all the laps done, and then coming into that first turn out of the joker, sometimes I'll get a little too wide, and I didn't want to risk hitting the wall or anything, so figured it'd be better just to save it till the end.
How is it to go around this circuit at the beginning, especially because you managed to get through the heat nicely and then into the final at the front where you needed to be, as it turned out. In the end, how was this circuit to drive tonight?
Oh man, it was grippy. It was good. It felt really fast. Yeah, definitely glad to be out front, because visibility is a huge issue, especially through those blind turns going over that hill. So being out in front definitely helped a lot.
And there's one more round of this championship coming up next week, as at Atlanta, and obviously next week time. Are we going to be seeing you there, and how do you go around there?
Yeah, I haven't driven it in a while, so I'll definitely have to put in some practice laps, see if I can get another repeat.
Look forward to seeing you there, Jeff. Congrats tonight on your your final win, sorry, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks so much, Jeff Cartwright, the winner tonight in the final. at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Joshua Germany finishes in second place and also joins us. Joshua, welcome in. Good to have you with us. 5 tenths the gap at the end, but you couldn't quite get past Jeff Cartwright in the end. What was the sort of key difference between the two of you in that last race?
I think I just didn't take my chances in the feature. There was a few times where he made mistakes. You probably saw me run into the back of him going to turn 1. I just didn't really capitalise on any of the tiny mistakes he made, and I think not really the feature. It was more just my qualifyings have just been too poor this season. That it just puts me on the back foot where I can't have that straightforward race, and I've sort of got to overwork for it. So I don't know. I'm a bit disappointed with second, to be honest.
Of course, you'll have gained a few points on Klaus Kreutzer, but the gap is very large between the two of you in the championship. Would you say that it's qualifying and these starts that have really held you back in this season more than anything else?
Yeah, that definitely has a part to play in it. This is my first sort of full season in this car. I've never really driven this car before, and I think I'm just lacking that hot lap. My Racecraft I feel like is okay because I'm managing to get through the field in every race. My starts are good. I'm picking the right lines, but I'm just on the back foot from the start, and yeah, it's just something I'm just gonna have to improve on if I want to get better.
And at the start of this race, it was manic. There was all sorts going on there. Just tell us your view of what happened on the way down towards turn 1.
I think my view was just hold on as tight as I can and hope no one hits my door, because that outside line is so how can I word it? Dangerous. It's so dangerous. You're sort of at the mercy of everyone at the inside. You take the widest line possible and hope nobody hits you. So that's literally, I could pretend it was all skill, but honestly, I think it was just all luck, Ewan.
Well, congratulations on surviving and gaining 6 places, which can't all be luck in that final. And congrats. Thanks for coming to chat to us, I should say, at the end of the race.
Yep, thank you very much, Ewan.
Thanks very much. That is Joshua Germany, second place tonight in Charlotte Motor Speedway. And finally, Klaus Kreutzer, who finishes third in the final as well. Klaus, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How are you feeling at the end of a third place finish in the final after everything that's happened tonight? Is it disappointment or relief that you could get back to the top 3?
A little bit of both. A little disappointed in myself for trying to run the hottest line ever, lap 1 of my heat race while I had the lead, and clipping the inside there and going for a spin around and trying to fight back from there. And then the feature, I knew I had the pace, and it's just hard to make passes. And I was behind my teammate for a while, and he's the last guy I wanted to give a door to and move out of my way. So kind of got stuck there for a little bit, but was able to find some clean air and put down fast laps. And I got right up to the back of Joshua, taking the white flag, and I just kind of sent it a little too hard, turn 1, understeered, and kind of just slid all the way out to the wall and banged the wall pretty good. And then and from there, my steering was real messed up. So I'm like, okay, take your medicine, take a third place, just cross the finish line. So yeah, all in all, I'm proud of how I did.
Tell us how turn 4 is to drive on a normal occasion, because you can criticise yourself for pushing too hard on lap 1 in a race you're winning. Fine, that can happen to anybody, of course. But how is that corner actually to drive normally? What is the key to getting around there so close to the wall, but obviously not clipping it and not running too wide all at the same time?
Yeah, well, it's a matter of, I found it's a matter of braking early. You got to brake like up the hill kind of, because your car's going to get weightless over the top, and then once you get contact with the wheels again, you got to get that weight transfer around. So helping yourself set up to like slow in to be able to set a good line through the center of that turn, and if you can get a wheel on the strip, on the grip strip on the inside, you're 3 tenths faster in one corner than the rest of the field. So it definitely pays to be good there, and really everywhere around the track, turn 1, turn 2, catch and grip there. It's to run fast on this track, you really got to take chances. So
well, congrats on recovering a position to third tonight, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks very much. Klaus Kreutzer finishes third tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll see his crowning moment next week, I'd imagine, at Atlanta in a week's time.
Yeah, we'll be crowning champions next week. That is for sure, once everything's confirmed. Right, that is the RX Am finished off for another week. An exciting round and an unexpected shorter round, shall we say. But we are going to be moving forward now into RX Pro, and things in the championship are a bit closer in that one because, as you can see on screen, just 7 points separating Evan McFarlane and Ilari Laminsivu. Beau Albert not here again for us this week. I think he's focusing more on the V8 Australian V8 series. He's in third place. Jacob Rafos ahead of Joni Poloniva, Oisi Peltola, Josh Fox, Kieran Lifflander, Josh Edmunson and Zach Blanche rounding out your top 10. But that championship fight though between McFarlane and Laminsivu, that is tighter than a tight thing. It's tighter than me with money.
Very good. Yeah, it is close. It is. Very interesting to see how today goes, because effectively what we saw last week was top four on its head for what the championship looked like compared to what the eventual race looked like. Evan McFarlane rocketing up the standings, Laminsivu as well, Beau Albert going backwards, and Rafos not able to take advantage of it not being there last week. And as you say, maybe focusing on other things at this stage in the year. So that's a bit of a shame that he's going to be out of the championship fight now. I think we can pretty much say with certainty. But I'm very excited to see how Rafos goes tonight. When I've seen him in the past in this series, and I've seen seasons of this where he's just not made a mistake and he's won everything, and that just hasn't been the case this season. And you know, I've seen him in the past where he's had a shaky start to a season as well, but once he's got that momentum, he's very difficult to stop. Just wonder at what stage is he going to find that this season. I mean, if he can clean sweep this here tonight, then I'd be a bit more confident that he could maybe pull off the big turnaround when it comes to the end of next week's race at Atlanta as well. But he needs to go very well tonight, and I think needs to win overall if he's going to start that momentum, start that run, and start gaining those points back, because 16 over 2 rounds on Evan McFarlane is a big gap.
Absolutely. McFarlane with 2 main race victories this season, the first race and then last week at Brands Hatch. Ilari Laminsivu, just the 1 main race win at Daytona International Speedway. Jacob Rafos has got 2 wins, and Kieran Lifflander, the other race winner as well at Knockhill. For me, I think that the current form going into this one is for Evan McFarlane to maybe cement his position up at the top of the standings, but it can be just as we saw in the opening heat race. One little mistake, just clipping that wall, and it can ruin your evening.
Yeah, it can. It's very, very difficult round here because of the way that the walls have been configured. Even on the very start of the races, we've seen it already. The walls are very, very close to the racetrack at this venue, so got to be very, very careful of that as we see these first chimes come in. It looks like Poloniva setting the pace.
Yeah, Poloniva ahead of Killian and Quentin Dall'Olmo, respectively. Matthew Linder to 4th place, so doing well for those two. Laminsivu and McFarlane yet to set a lap time. Jacob Rafos in 6th place. There's Russell Peterson giving us a great view, and you can see it's not really, you know, snapping at the wheel. It's not fighting the car. He's just getting the car into a position and just holding that slide from through the wheel. It's very calm behind that wheel.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it would be when you look at the off-board cameras, but as you say, it is rather smooth. Obviously slowing down a little bit now as he's just looking to the left-hand side, I think, to see what his lap time was. Oh, and he jumps over into the wall as well. Thankfully, didn't see too much of that in the races, but at least for the AMs. But in qualifying, we have seen a couple of people fall off the edge there over the jump.
Quentin Dall'Olmo going for the ultra-wide setup with a monitor above for him to look at his data and all of that. So here's Quentin, of course, former World Championship, iRX World Championship driver, along with Killian as well. And so he's in 5th place then in the end in qualifying. Poloniva still holding on to the top of the standings. Evan McFarlane, I believe, is still on a lap here. Zach Blanche up over the jump.
Yeah, And now towards the through that tarmac, right-handed turn 3, and then the long left-hander through 4, staying as close to the wall as possible for flicking it in then to turn 5, where you've got to stay quite close to the wall as well, although that's not happening for now. McFarlane over the line. Is it any quicker? No, it isn't any quicker than Palaneva, sorry. Lamin Sivu behind him though, which will be pleasing for him.
Well, that means that they're going to be separated in terms of their heat races. Don't forget, between the two of them. So we're getting towards the end of qualifying. Thomas Poulsen, no lap time from them. They're going to be starting at the back of the field. Everybody else has pretty much set their lap times. Lamin Sivu actually is on lap 3 of his run, so he could potentially get one more lap time in, could Alari, and he's got the time to finish it in as well. Here he is.
Yeah, he needs to go just a few hundredths quicker.
Nope.
Oh, and he's given it up. So realises through turn 5 that he's not going to get there, and so pulls away, and that will be that. The 2 championship contenders, and I'm going to call it just a 2 now, because Rafos down in 8th is quite a long way down back in the pack, first of all for the heat, but also it's not many qualifying points, which is what he needs in this close fight.
Yeah, certainly. So as things stand then, it's Joni Palaneva who'll be taking away the championship points, the most championship points for qualifying here, getting the fastest time. Evan McFarlane, second place ahead of championship contender Ilari Lamin Sivu. So very little to separate the two of them. Quentin Dall'Olmo ahead of Quentin, and then it's Matthew Linder, Josh Edmunson, Jacob Rafos, Yuka Pakala and Joshua Darnell. We're getting ourselves set then for the first heat race of the evening. Again, it's going to be the top 2 that automatically qualify into the main race. 2 heat races for us, 18 drivers. So Palaneva and Lamin Sivu on the front, along with Quentin Dall'Olmo on the front row. Josh Edmunson and Yuka Pakala on row number 2. Oise Peltola on row number 3, alongside him Nick Ledecky and Zach Blanche. Russell Peterson rounding out our 9-car grid. Wow, we're getting ourselves all set for the first of the heat races. These drivers, their times are close out there, Ewan. This should be real excitement.
Yeah, it should be. It should be very tactical as well. As when the jokers are taken, we didn't see too much tactical racing in the RX AM Championship, unfortunately, but with more drivers in here, more track space to find, there may just be a few more ducking down early, trying to do something a little bit different to get ahead of the rest. But we will see as the drivers now get themselves onto the grid, ready for the start of the first heat of the day. It's Lamin Sivu of the 2 championship contenders who is in this one to focus on.
Absolutely, and don't forget, this is the Next Level Racing iRX Championship, RX Pro. Fully open setup, so the drivers can set the cars up how they please. We've got an all Subaru field here for RX Pro today. And if you are, reminder, Next Level Racing, if you use their US store, use the code RaceCraft for 5% off of orders on the Next Level Racing US store. A few drivers just patiently waiting for the man who's going to be in the middle of the front row. We're patiently waiting for them as well to make it to the start of this race. So there we go. Ilari Lamin Sivu ready and set. 5 laps in this first heat race in RX Pro.
Green, green, green.
Green flag, away we go. It's a good launch from the inside and outside of the front row in towards turn number 1. Lamin Sivu's going to have to just back out of that one a little bit. We're clean through that opening turn, and it's side by side at the front then, neck and neck as they go into turn number 1. Well out of control there from second place. Around he goes, and that's a nightmare for the driver who starts on the front row on the outside.
Yeah, and easily done for Lamin Sivu as he keeps Edmunson right behind him here. I think there was contact through that short shoot after turn 1 as well, by the way, because Nick Ledecky is miles behind the rest of the field at the moment. Zach Blanche is at the back at the moment with Quentin Dall'Olmo, who I thought was the one who went around initially, actually, but I might be wrong. On the opening lap, it's another race of opening lap drama. The front two, though, able to get clear now. Palaneva and Lamin Sivu, that's the contact. It's heavy contact with the wall as well.
Yeah, it was Quentin Dall'Olmo who was around, the driver around. Remember, top 2, that's where you need to be in this race, and it's Palaneva pulling away from Lamin Sivu. A very wide line from Josh Edmunson. That's dropping him down behind Oyster Peltola. Not the best line through turn number 3, and that's lost him 2 places.
Yeah, and maybe even a spot in the final as well, as it looks down. Oh, looks down the inside here of the right-hander at turn 5. Can't get through on the way into, and he goes for the Joker. Now the tactical racing begins through lap 2. Zach Blanche has already been down, but he's of course a long way back, and so is Quentin Dall'Olmo, who takes it now as well. Oh, sorry, Russ Peterson actually, who takes it now as well in 59. So still waiting for the top 4, but can Edmunson put some pace down now and get back to where he was before that mistake?
As we go through then on to the dirt once again, around turn 4. Wide line for Palaneva there, and Lamin Sivu, what he wouldn't give to get ahead of Palaneva in this race and get that inside front row place for the main race. They're going to carry on these two without going onto the Joker lap. So Palaneva and Lamin Sivu neck and neck across the line, half a second covering them, and all it takes is one mistake and you could see a change at the front of this field.
Yeah, and see where... Oh, Edmunson, as he's trying to... Oh, and he's been hit as well. He's been hit, and now this is surely going to be a last place finish. In fact, Peterson, who hit him, has also gone off as a result of the contact. And so it looks like those last few positions are now settled, and settled unfavourably as well, because there was definitely a lot of contact back there.
Oh, here we go then. So it's just wild and out of control then from Edmunson, and Peterson with a wild, wide line just tags him single-handedly. Lamin Sivu to the Joker lap. He had to do something different to the race leader.
Yep, he did, and there was no risk attached to that, because Oyster Peltola is way too far back to be threatening the top 2 here. Just looking to hold on to a 3rd place finish that would get him a good starting position for the last chance qualifier. Should we have one? I'm sure we will this time in a moment. But Lamin Sivu looking to put the pace on here and see if he's quick enough to get past Palaneva at the front of this heat.
Remember, it's a longer lap, is the Joker lap, so Palaneva will turn left. There he goes, into the Joker lap then, slow down, get it turned, you're on the asphalt there. Can Lamin Sivu come through? He's neck and neck at the line, but it's going to be Palaneva then, who takes the win here. Great result for Joni Palaneva, with Larry Lamin Sivu going through into that main race.
Very well done for Palaneva to hold on there, because Lamin Sivu was coming quickly and he just nearly had the speed, but not quite. He'll be a little bit disappointed to be in second, although he has made the final.
Well, the no-control driver had full control. He wins just 0.2 of a second ahead of the Havu Gaming Larry Lamin Sivu. The rest, they'll see them in the last chance qualifier. Second heat race of the evening then. Evan McFarlane and Quentin Dall'Olmo, Matthew Linder round out your front row. Jacob Rafos and Joshua Darnell on row number 2. Robbie Kirtley, Sean Winkler and Santari Heiskanen rounds out row number 3, with Thomas Paulson at the back of this 9-car field. We should get at least one last chance qualifier in this one, but we're all set then for the start of this one. We've got 8 cars starting, so we're missing one. Green flag, and away we go, and it's a good launch from the outside front row again as we go through. Oh, contact, big contact. Rafos is involved in all of that. Oh, around and around they go. Absolute nightmare at the start of this one. Sean Winkler's got some heavy damage on his car, but my goodness, Matthew Linder has been a bit of a battering, bit of a beating bag.
Yeah, 5 of 8.
That's the one.
5 of 8 still caught up in that on the opening lap, and that leaves 3 at the front to battle for the 2 places in the final. Dall'Olmo, McFarlane and Robbie Kirtley, who's made it as well. Joshua Darnell leads the charge of those who were delayed on lap number 1. Oh, close to contact, and McFarlane nearly goes for a spin in his attempt to miss Dall'Olmo, and suddenly the championship leader is now on the outside looking in. Into the Joker goes Kirtley. This is what happened. Remarkable, really, that McFarlane survived at all.
So that was a separate one then for Matthew Linder, who was on the outside. He's out the race, but big contact right at the start, and bang, bang, 4 or 5 cars involved in multiple instances on that start then. It is a tricky track, tricky run down into that first turn off of the start, but Dall'Olmo ahead of Evan McFarlane then. Joshua Darnell in 3rd place. Oh, running very wide there was Evan McFarlane. That's a line that seems to work nicely for him when he's not got a car right in his tail.
Yeah, and that's going to be a problem, because you can't imagine there'll be too many occasions where there won't be somebody right behind him, although maybe he's going to wait to take his Joker right at the very end here so that situation does not arise. But Robbie Kirtley came into the Joker from 2nd, so watch out for him a bit later on. And that also means, I guess, that Heiskanen is not actually that far away from making it into the top 2 either. The problem for Kirtley is that he could get stuck behind somebody, and luckily for him, he's got Jakob Frost right in front of him, which could prevent that from becoming a realistic scenario, at least for a little while.
Here we are on board with the no control driver then, showing absolute precision control here, if you ask me. Look at how smooth Robbie takes that right-hander then at turn number 5. Throw it into the right-hander. Jacob Rafos stays on track, but it's Joshua Darnell who goes onto the Joker lap this time round. Under the board, the finish board once again. 2 laps remain in this race. Dall'Olmo and McFarlane still ahead. Kirtley, I don't know if he's close enough to be honest here, Ewan. I think McFarlane might just sneak through here.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's been given a lifeline by Kirtley, really. Lamich Siva is going to be disappointed about that as well, not least for the points that he would have gained, but also starting position in the final and the lack of peril in the last chance qualifier. In he comes. This is the big moment for Evan McFarlane.
It certainly is, as through he goes, and there's Jacob Rafos, who's not taken the Joker lap yet. Evan McFarlane has, but Rafos is now holding up Evan McFarlane here. This could give Kirtley a chance, but he's too far back, in my opinion. He's just too far back to make an opportunity of that. Quentin Dall'Olmo, though, after having his own contact at the first turn of this race, he leads. He's got to take to the Joker lap. This time around, he should, and I say should, hold on to the win here. Through the left, onto the brakes, and look at how much he's having to wrench at the wheel, sliding it through the inside. McFarlane goes through on Rafos, but it's Quentin Dall'Olmo who goes through to the main race. He wins the race. Evan McFarlane is an automatic transition. Everybody else, well, they've got to do it the hard way here in this one. That was an exciting race, if you ask me. And, well, it's Quentin Dall'Olmo who takes the victory then by 2 seconds ahead of Evan McFarlane. Kirtley, Rafos, Heiskanen, Winkler, Darnell and Linda all do not make it through. Now, good news, Ewan. We've got 2 last chance qualifiers coming up for you right now. And here's the grid. Peltola, Pakala and Blanche is your front row. Dall'Olmo and Edmunson, row number 2. Peterson is on the 3rd row of the grid, along with Nick Ledecky. So good news, we've got 2 main racers to see here. Who we get through here. Now, we've had 2 go through in each heat, so that's 4 drivers. So we should be needing another 8 drivers going through. So in theory, this should be, what, 4 from each race then? In theory.
I'm just going to wait and see. Because it's very complicated. If that is the case, then it's not a very selective race, that's for sure.
Well, here we go then. It's the main C-main. It's the last chance qualifier, the first one. Green flag racing. Good launch from the second row for Dall'Olmo. Gets in between him and Peltola. Contact between three of them. Zach Blanche, the innocent party in all of that. But it was Dall'Olmo and Peltola who get together there. And it was almost inevitable, was that, wasn't it, with the way they were driving?
Yeah, almost inevitable. And it's happened already in towards turn number one.
Oh,
it's effectively given...
Big action.
Yeah, another one.
Edmunson, another one.
Oh dear. Well, Dall'Olmo is pretty much out. I mean, he's miles too far back. Same for Edmunson and Pelton. It looks like pretty much we've already sorted out who's going to be the four. If it will be four. This is how it happened. Four wide in towards turn one. And it's impossible to know where to point the finger there. But they all get involved. All four of them who were in the four wide end up in the wall.
Well, Dall'Olmo is never backing out of that. He's always keeping his foot in there. Peltola's coming in from the left because it slightly turns, does that start section. And so it's always narrowing down. The two, one on the outside, one on the inside, were pinching together. And then this is what happened to Edmunson. He's going to get into the wall there. And Peltola and Dall'Olmo are going to be the innocent parties in that one.
Yeah, and well, that is a big shame to see off the very start of this race, because it might well have settled our four already. We'll see whether any of these take the Joker early to just certify that, and Peterson indeed does. So let's see how not close this is, because I think Peltola is going to be a very long way away. Oh, he's grabbed the wall there briefly as Peterson, but yeah. He takes the Joker and will be very comfortable now, as will Zach Blanche actually, that he is going to be in the final. So Lamin Sivu, who is going to have to go through this, will be... was it Lamin Sivu who didn't make it, or was it somebody else? Anyway, those who are in the other last chance qualifier are going to be disappointed they weren't in this one.
As we carry on through, I can tell you that the heat, it was... heat number one, Lamin Sivu did make it through to the main race, so he finished second in that first heat of the evening. As we go through, I'm just having a look through the information here, because for some reason here, so I'm a little bit confused about this track, because every other week of this series we've had 12 cars in the main feature race. We've had 4 cars qualify through the heats, but it's looking like here that 6 will qualify from each of these last chance qualifiers. So basically 2 drivers will miss out. That'd be a 16-car feature race.
Yeah, see what I mean? This is just weird. I don't know what this is all about. For me, I mean, yeah, as we go on to the last lap here, by the way, I think the heat should be, or the specifications for who goes through and how many goes through should be less on how many they want in the final, more on how many are in each heat and making that reasonable. Because 6 out of 7 going through is almost a pointless race.
Well, it's not pointless because you're losing one driver maximum. Yeah, Quentin Dall'Olmo is going to be the one that misses out if that's the case. Josh Edmunson, who, by the way, is out of this race, would actually be the one on the inside. Oh, no, he's not out of the race. He's just laps down because his car's ruined. Anyway, let's forget all that, because Jukka Pakala is going to be your last chance qualifier winner ahead of Nick Ledecky. And then Russell Peterson and Zach Blanche will round out the top 4. We will get you confirmation once we know what the grid is for the main race and the main feature race. There's Josh Edmunson dragging his Subaru around. Yes, this is definitely not as designed.
No, this is what it creates, though, isn't it? This is just stupid. This doesn't happen in rallycross racing. Anyway, he's made it.
I've seen cars finish with 3 wheels before, so in real world rallycross. So yeah, that's the results then. Pakala, Ledecky, Peterson, Blanche, we know definitely are going through. The others we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look at the grid then for the second last chance qualifier. Kurtli Rafors, Heiskanen, front row. Winkler, Darnell, row number 2. Linda, and then at the back of this field, Thomas Poulsen. it is going to be another 5 laps then to decide who is going to be making it through to the main feature race. It's a good launch from the middle of the front row for Jacob Rafos down into that first turn. It's all about surviving, not making any mistakes, and keeping out of trouble really here. And if you do all of that, you're getting yourself through into the main race.
Yeah, and Rafos has made a very good start. It was him I was thinking about, by the way, earlier on, when I was wondering who's in this last chance qualifier. It is indeed him who's gotten off to a great start here, and you'd imagine he has the speed to run away at the front. Curtly in second, already struggling to stay with him.
Go through the turn number 4 then, sliding through, and then through the right-hander. We are missing one driver from this
Paulson.
race, I do believe.
Yeah, Paulson didn't start his heat and hasn't started the last chance qualifier either, so if it is indeed 6 that go through, it's an even more pointless race.
It's a waste of virtual energy is what it is. Fortunately, we don't have to dig up some liquid dinosaur to be able to run these cars, but here we are. So Rafos, what this does give them though is a little bit of a heads up and a feeling of getting the racing in, whereas the drivers who ran in the heats, let's not forget, they've been sat around waiting for these races to be done.
Yeah, exactly. So may go into it a little bit cold, although there is that short warm-up between these last chance qualifiers and indeed the final as well. So and indeed they get the better starting position as well. So things are still in their favour, very much so. But they are having quite some significant time away from racing here before they get on with their final, which is going to be very important for Lamin Sivu and McFarlane, who are in that final already. Rafos dropping away from them tonight, I believe, with the lack of ability to get through that heat without having to go through this race. He's lost points already tonight.
Yeah, and of course qualifying as well. Don't forget Rafos, not the best qualifying from him, so losing out even more to Edmunson and Lamin Sivu. There goes Sean Winkler, the quickest retailer in all of Racecraft Rallycross here in the Next Level Racing iRX Championship. And there you see, with one of his retail signs as well. Very good advertising, a very good ploy is that from Sean.
That is very good, and knows he's going to be on camera there, knows where the camera's going to be. And yeah, he's very smart indeed. He's also going to be in the final by the looks of things, as he just makes a bit of an adjustment through turn 4 and to get a bit of turn in again there. Go through a second grab of left-hand lock there as he closes on Santeri Heiskanen and will indeed get past him, because the driver in front hasn't taken their joker yet, and they're going to wait until the last lap.
They certainly are. Jacob Rafos starts his last lap at the front of the field then, and Kurtley Heiskanen are going to take to the joker lap along with Rafos on this lap. Winkler, Darnell, Linda, they've all taken their joker laps. It's all about who finishes where at the end then. Winkler should definitely jump ahead of Heiskanen. Whether he jumps ahead of Kurtley though, that's going to be the one to keep an eye on here. But Jacob Rafos, just look at how smooth he is through that hairpin. The 4-time champion, don't forget, here in the Next Level Racing iRX Championship, and through he goes across the line, and Jacob Rafos is this last chance qualifier winner. He gets himself through in the best possible grid position that he can. Across the line for the rest then, Robbie Kurtley does hold on to second place ahead of Sean Winkler. Joshua Darnell able to hold on to 4th place in the end ahead of Matthew Linda, with Santari Heiskanen and Thomas Poulsen not taking to the race start then. So we are indeed having a 16-car main feature race. That's 4 cars than we normally have out there on track, Ewan. We've seen some really good racing. We've also seen a little bit of carnage into the first turn from the start. 16 cars going into that first turn. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, they're not all going to make it through. I think we can say that quite definitively now on that run towards turn 1, because even in a 7-car field or so, we see trouble, and it's not really, well, especially that last one. I mean, in towards 4 wide, in towards turn 1, I don't think was anybody's fault really. It's just the layout of this circuit makes it very, very difficult indeed. So yeah, I think this is going to be incident stricken to begin with, but that's where you've got to pick your way through, especially if you're a Foss in the middle of this. If you're Lamansivu or McFarlane further up towards the front, you've got to fight for those early positions hard and try and hold on to them for the rest, because I certainly believe that Lamansivu needs to really gain just a couple of points tonight on McFarlane and make that championship finale a really close one at Atlanta.
Santari Heiskanen has put into the session chat, at least it's going to be entertaining. And that certainly is what we've been seeing all night, entertainment. It's been really good racing though, overall, on the whole. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this main feature race, but Lamansivu or McFarlane, who you think is going to come out on top between the two main championship protagonists?
I'll go with Lamansivu, because I think he's slightly better placed with his grid position, and that may just allow him to get through the first corner with a better run on that run out of turn number 1, that short run towards it's turn 2 of the race and the last corner of the racetrack, and then he can take it from there. But let's see, it's going to be a very, very busy one, that's for sure.
Right, well, I've got to get through this grid really quickly when we get that come up on screen, because 16 cars, it's the biggest feature race that we've seen here this season. It's Palaniva, Dall'Olmo, Lamansivu front row, and McFarlane and Pakler row number 2. Rafos alongside him on row number 3 is Ledecky and Kirtley. Peterson and Winkler row number 4 with Blanche, Darnell, and then on the outside of that row is Peltola. Linda, Edmunson and Heiskanen round out your 16-car grid. 10 laps of action for these drivers to head down into that first turn. It's a tight turn. It's not the widest turn either. And if somebody gets a good launch from the middle of that front row, or even from the second row, like we saw with Quentin Dall'Olmo in one of those heats, well, we could be seeing carnage and chaos, that is for sure. Last few drivers heading to the grid, and we're all set then. 10 laps of action here for round number 7 of the Next Level Racing iRX RX Pro.
Green flag, green flag.
We are green flag racing, and it's a good launch from the middle of the front row. Inside has also got it as well in towards turn number 1, but trying to run around the outside. We've got contact in the mid-pack, but everybody's made it through. Almost. Big, huge crash. Jacob Rafos is one of those who's worst affected, and it's basically half the field has been involved in that somehow.
Yeah, Lamansivu was one of them, I'm pretty sure, as he was running it around the outside through turn 1. He was then inevitably going to be involved in that as somebody hit the inside wall there, coming through the second corner of the race, and we've got big trouble down the field. It's still close at the front though. Palaniva, I think, at the front of the field. Where has McFarlane got to? He seems to be a long way down as well.
I think he's 8th or 9th. McFarlane, I think, has just gone very wide through turn number 5, though, but huge issues then. Rafos, Pakala, Poulsen, and Quentin Dall'Olmo all out of this race. My goodness, this has been absolutely crazy. Lamansivu Crusoe is ahead of Evan McFarlane then. So, dramatic start to this race. Peterson and McFarlane and Edmunson, they've all taken to the joker lap. They've decided, let's get that one out of the way. But at the front, Palaniva has got a 1-second lead over Killian Dall'Olmo.
Yeah, he's looking good at the front. It's Palaniva. Let's see how it happened here. Watch on the inside, coming in towards turn 2, just in front of Rafos. It's a little bit of contact there initially, which sends somebody sideways, and Rafos straight into the wall. I mean, that is desperately unlucky for everybody outside the top 2 or so.
Was it Edmunson who got tagged then by Rafos that then got fired into Lamansivu?
I don't know.
I don't know.
From there, I can't tell.
Yeah, we couldn't tell from that high up, but what we can tell you is that we've got action here. The BS competition car, that is Nick Ledecky trying to stay ahead right now in 3rd place, ahead of Zach Blanche and Matthew Linda. Zach Blanche up 7 places, Linda up 9, Heiskanen up 10 places from where he started.
Yeah, it's if you can pick yourself through this, then you'll be, making up a lot of positions. Let's see Edmunson's view of this. I mean, there's just nothing you can do when you're sat here. You won't even see the start of the accident before he's arriving in it in a moment. There he goes, looking to avoid briefly, and then, gets into it at the very end. So, nothing he could have done about that.
Yeah, I was into the side of Sean Winkler, big contact, Quentin Dall'Olmo. What's happened to Dall'Olmo? He's got a wheel missing. Oh my goodness, Dall'Olmo was in 2nd place. He's now out of the race.
Yeah, he's got the wheel hanging on by a thread there in the back end of the field. He will be gone as well. This is a very, very attritional race. We've only got 11 of the 16 that started in the race. And, again, this is why 16 car fields are probably too many.
Oh.
Wow.
He's hit the finish barrier. He's hit the finish marker. And that is solid. Don't ask me how I know.
That's why we saw somebody up in the air when we joined them there. Oh, and into the wall straight away as well. Now, who was that
involved in all this? There.
Yeah, okay. I mean, this has been very, very messy so far in this race. And out front, Palaniva is clear of everything.
The thing is some people will be saying, it's because it's a 16-car final. Well, I'll tell you now, that won't necessarily be the reason why. Peterson just had no chance of reacting to that over the jump. The thing is, the main accident at the start of the race happened at towards the front of the field, so that would have happened no matter what.
Well, that is true, but some of the stuff afterwards could certainly be put down to a lot of people in the field. And, I do feel like if you sort of deselect some of these drivers from it as well, it would, it would help the aftermath of that crash. You're right that could have happened at the front of any race, but, if there's only 4 behind piling in, then it's a lot less of a big crash than what it is in this field, which, as you say, when you're starting 16th, 15th, it's just impossible to avoid anything.
Definitely out this race. Winkler, Kirtley, Pakala, and Dall'Olmo, Rafos, sorry, definitely out of this race. Killian Dall'Olmo, he also has parked his car. Joshua Darnell is parked as well. Russell Peterson's trying to drag his car around for 10th place. Evan McFarlane's just picked up a slowdown penalty. That must be through turn number 3, because that's about one of the few places that you can actually pick up a slowdown penalty around here.
Yeah, it's not very common in rallycross racing at all to see that kind of thing, but there you go. There's a first for everything tonight. As Zach Blanche gets past to Matthew Lind by the looks of things. Lamin Sivu just in front of Ludeke, and he's just about keeping clear of him around 2 and 3, or 1 and 2 there. So he gets 4th, but will he be there at the end of it? Ludeke has already been through the Joker.
Yeah, I was about to say that, Ludeke's been through the Joker. Lamin Sivu clips that barrier, manages to get lucky with that, though. It kicked him back. We've seen other drivers, that wall has grabbed the car and just spun it round. Lamin Sivu, riding his luck again. He needs to finish ahead of McFarlane here, so he's going to be coming onto the Joker lap, either this or the final lap, because we are incredibly on the penultimate lap of the race.
Yeah, it is unbelievable how quickly these go through. As Ludeke gets very close to the wall there, he's pushing hard to try and stay with Lamin Sivu. Oh, and he's off! He's off, coming on the way towards turn 3. What has gone on for Nick Ludeke here?
That's a failure. That's a hardware failure, is that?
Looks like
definitely. Oh, heartbreak for Nick Ludeke there. He was on for a really, really good result there out of all of that. So it's not just been impacts with other cars on the walls, it's also been hardware failures by the looks of things. But at the front, Joni Palaniva, we've barely mentioned him. He's got a comfortable lead at the front. He's had a great race, hasn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely has, and this is the best way to do these races. Get out front early, take your Joker on the last lap, because you've got a comfortable gap to those behind. Closest driver who's taken their joker 14 seconds away. Palaniva will be keeping this win.
Yeah, certainly will. On to the joker lap for Palaniva then, through the right-hander, onto the loud pedal, and he will see the checkered flag for the first time this season. Joni Palaniva, for no control, takes the main race victory here today, and he'll be absolutely delighted with that. Zach Blanche finishes second place here, ahead of Matthew Linder. Larry Lamantivu gets fourth place, and Josh Edmunson just hangs on to fifth place. So the points have closed up slightly between the two of those.
Yeah, it has, and yeah, those few positions could be very, very crucial for Lamantivu. It's not going to be a big scoring night for any of the championship contenders particularly. Might even allow Beau Albert to have a chance next week if he wants to turn up, but unlikely. Lamantivu will just have taken a few away.
Here we go then with unofficial race results then for round number 7 of the Next Level Racing iRX Championship, RX Pro, and it's no control. Well, he was in full control. Joni Palaniva started on pole position and wins this main race here. Zach Blanche and his teammate Matthew Linder for Team Watson Racing Setups finished second and third place, ahead of Ilari Lamantivu and Josh Edmunson, the two championship protagonists. Santari Heiskanen then in 6th place, making it 2 no control cars in the top 6. Evan McFarlane then in 7th, ahead of Oysi Peltola, with Russell Peterson the last lap, lead lap even, finishing. Nick Ledecky 1 lap down in 10th place. And then the rest, well, it was a case of park them up in the scrapyard. Joshua Darnell, Quentin Dall'Olmo, Yuka Pakola, Jacob Rafos, Robbie Kirtley and Sean Winkler, all non-finishers here today. Well, we're going to get to speak to our podium here in RX Pro, and we will start off with your race winner, Joni Palaniva, standing by with Ewan O'Leary.
Joni, welcome in. Congratulations on a win tonight in RX Pro at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tell us about that final, first of all. You seemed to run away and it looked comfortable at the front. Was it as comfortable in the car for you?
Yeah, I was very shocked because when I get P1 in heat and the final. So I'm very happy. This is my first Racecraft win, so I take it.
Yeah. What's something you really like about this circuit? Is it a circuit you really like going around, and that's what has sort of pushed you on to this victory tonight, or are you amazed that it's come at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
I like this track because there is fast corner and then there is technical corner. So I think because that I was so good positions.
Well, congrats tonight on the win in the final, Joni, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the race as well.
Thank you, and thanks No Control and my wife and our baby. See you soon.
Thanks very much, Joni Palaniva. Making sure he gets all those important thank yous in the end, and wins tonight at Charlotte ahead of Zach Blanche, who joins us now as well. Second tonight, Zach, in the final. Just again, tell us, I'll ask everyone the same thing. Tell us your perspective on the opening lap and how you managed to get through it all.
Honestly, the night started off a bit rough. We were not comfortable in qualifying. Found out that I was running the wrong setup, so quickly flipped that up. Got caught in a little bit of drama in both the heat and LCQ, so we're starting pretty far back on that heat in that final. I knew it was going to be a bit of a gnarly one, so we just kind of rolled on in there, just stuck inside, and I think it was a little bit of the seas parting, which was beautiful. And then we come out in 4th from 11th off the start, so that was really nice to see. I knew I was faster than Nick, so I just needed to hit my marks, and then I think Killian ended up catching the start-finish gantry, so it was really nice to pull in a great result like this. Charlotte's definitely one of my favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you could have done to get near Joni, or was he always going to be too far away, given the places you started respectively?
I was honestly surprised that I kept up with him for as long as I did. He is setting some blistering times around this track at the moment. He's definitely stepping up his game. So I've raced with him for a while and had some good races with him. So it's good to see him stepping up the game. But yeah, we definitely need some more practice to catch up to him.
Well, congrats tonight on a second place finish in the final, and thanks for chatting to us at the end as well.
Yeah, thanks guys. I'd just like to give a quick shout out to TWRS. They're just an amazing team. They've got the setup shop. Head over there, grab yourself some setups. They're always amazing. But yeah, thanks to Evan, Matt and Josh and everyone over at TWRS for all their help.
Thanks again. That's Zach Blanche, who finishes in second place tonight in the final at Charlotte. And third goes to Matthew Linder. Welcome in, Matthew. Congratulations on a third place finish, gaining 11 places to get there in the end. Talk us through how you managed to pick your way through the field in such a chaotic final.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly still don't even really know what happened. It's just, that's, I guess, what happens when you have like 16 something cars on the track. It's not really meant to be, but we were able to be on the good side of it. And I mean, yeah, honestly, I felt pretty good going into this round. I felt like I had some decent speed, not speed to be on the podium, but to have speed to be able to run at least kind of mid-pack in the feature. But the starts and the heats were bad and had some incidents, and having to go through the LCQ, honestly, it was probably just a blessing in disguise, really, with how the feature played out.
Well, yeah, perhaps true in the end. How did you sort of expect to go around here at Charlotte compared to ending up third place in the last race?
Yeah, no, honestly, after that heat race, I thought I was not even going to be able to make the feature at all, stand alone, be on the podium. But, you know, it definitely feels really good. This is my first podium since the amateur days, and it definitely feels really good, although it's definitely a weird one to get, and honestly just a lucky one to get, but honestly still at the end of the day it still feels really good.
Well, congrats on third tonight, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well.
Thank you guys, have a good one.
Thanks so much. That's Matthew Linder, who finishes third tonight in Charlotte Motor Speedway, gaining 11 places as well in the last race to get there.
Yeah, and had to dodge all the flying cars to be able to do that right at the start. That was a bit of a chaotic way to finish off the evening, but my goodness, it's going to tee us up nicely into that championship finale, which you don't have long to wait for. Just 1 week time we head on over to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, November the 23rd, 3 p.m. Eastern time for that championship finale. RX it's not quite as close as in RX Pro, but you will not want to miss that championship finale. It certainly will give us all the thrills and spills, that is for sure. But I'm afraid that is all that we've got time for here today. From Ewan O'Leary, from myself, Paul Smith, Hugo Luis has been our producer here today. This has been a RaceSpot TV broadcast for the Next Level Racing iRX Championship.